Hi guys, welcome to or welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie, and I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Truly, and I mean that because the climate of the world right now is actually insane. It really is making me want to cry and curl up in a ball. I'm very saddened by the recent news and feel like it could have been prevented if people were just a little more educated. Honestly, I don't think that people actually read a single thing or look at a single thing. Like, I truly think that some people base their beliefs off of what's being said around them and random TikTok videos that they see, and honestly, things that aren't even true about the candidates. So, like, everyone thinks the taxes are gonna be going down, girl. Yeah, for the 1%, for the billionaires. You can literally, fact check so many things, and it's not that hard. There's actually a website for it that you can literally fact check and see if it's true or false. And, just blindly believing and blindly going to vote for someone when it's the future of your lives and people that you care about's lives is actually crazy to me. Being a woman right now, being a lot of different types of people right now other than a straight white male is very scary. I know, and people are so funny because they're like, it's not that dramatic, why are you posting hotlines and stuff? And it's because thousands of people have already killed themselves. What do you mean? People have already killed themselves because of this election, because they don't see a way that anything's going to get better, because they think that that's the only way out, and that just was their last straw. So that's probably why. Maybe you should fucking be empathetic and maybe think about maybe one person other than yourself that maybe doesn't look like you, because it's crazy to me that just because you're not upset about it doesn't mean that anyone else shouldn't be upset about it. You know that there are things that are going to happen that affect other people that probably aren't going to affect you. I just can't believe that we have so many people in the world that are truly so unempathetic, and they only care about if the fucking gas is going to go down 30 cents, which probably isn't even going to happen. So I hope you enjoy your $2.50 gas tanks. I live in Florida, and it's so crazy because that literally the one amendment that got passed is the hunting and fishing. Constitutional right to hunt and fish. But not the constitutional right to not die of sepsis if I am having a complication with a pregnancy. Ugh, I gotta get out of here, guys. I seriously gotta get out of here. I don't want to live here anymore. I haven't wanted to live here for a while, and now I don't want to live here even more. And I'm especially not gonna be having children here. Because God forbid I have one complication with my pregnancy and then I die 24 hours later. Okay, anyways, we're not going to talk too much about that because it's already just it's been honestly stressing me out so much. My heart, I just feel has been super heavy ever since 2 days ago, honestly. I feel an immense amount of stress right now. I did not take a time machine to 1910. So why do I feel I'm literally in the 1900s right now? Still gonna wake up every day and live my life, and hopefully it's really not as bad as I think it's gonna be, because people are saying, guys, it's not gonna be that bad, and I really hope that it's not gonna be that bad. But I fear that maybe it's not gonna be that bad for you. I'm not just sad about things that are just gonna happen to me. I also am feeling terrible for the way that other people are feeling as well. You know what I mean? That's just called being a humanity, caring, being empathetic. So let's get into some really depressing stories that we're gonna read today. No, I'm just kidding. But actually I think actually they are kind of depressing, sorry. But when are they not? But let's just forget about it and just tune out the noise for now. Let's just chat together and think about these people and what they're going through instead of what we're going through right now. I'm going to take a sip of my water because God knows I need it. Okay, but anyways, I love you guys and I'm really sorry. Okay? And I hope that everyone is doing okay. And I wish I could give you all, I'm going to give you a virtual hug right now. I wish I could give you all a hug and just like tell you that it's going to be okay. Here we go. This is the first story. My girlfriend made an ultimatum. Either I get her name tatted or we break up. What can I do? Hello, everyone. Based on the title, only you already know what I'm wondering about. That is simply it, and I want advice on how to go about this situation. I've 19 male, been with my girlfriend 18 female for 8 months now, and recently she got a new tattoo on herself because she's always wanted one. Recently she told me to get her name tatted, and initially I said no. Now, I'm perfectly fine with getting tattoos, and I plan on getting some myself when I save up. But the issue I have is because I personally think it's a bad idea to get your significant other's name tatted because it's like the kiss of death thing. Along with, I'm not really comfortable with getting one while dating. I'd rather wait until marriage, which then, in my opinion, getting her name would be a better time, which is what I told her. But it made her mad, which is where the ultimatum she made comes in. She gave me the deadline of December 8th to get it done or she's breaking up with me. I absolutely love this girl to bits and I want to have a future with her, and breaking up with her is something I want to avoid at all costs. But after this, I don't know how to bring up my feelings again. I don't want to hurt her feelings or disappoint her about how I feel about getting her name tattooed. I know I need to talk about this with her, but how do I go about it? Thank you, everyone. Side note. No, this isn't an update. I just wanted to talk about a few things since I can't like everyone's comments for being funny or giving good advice. First, thank you everyone for your united opinions on my situation. I've never seen this happen before, which is funny. Now for people saying she should get the tattoo first. I've asked that before, and she said she'll get it after I get mine. So that answers that. Again, thank you everyone for your advice and for making me realize I was a fool for tolerating this, and that this is something I should never stand for or tolerate in a relationship. Thank you again. Yeah, I mean, obviously that's already been said now, but what I was gonna say is obviously I felt like not entitled. I felt like, I don't know, I felt like I needed to read this story because this guy is so young, and when you're 19 and when you're 18, like, you truly do think, like, I'm going to be with this person forever. Like, I will literally die if I lose this person. Even if it's not the healthiest of relationships, you just kind of think that's how relationships are and that you have to fight for relationships. And then you get older and you realize that actually relationships shouldn't be that complicated, especially a healthy one. Like, healthy ones, yeah, you're going to fight once in a while, you're going to argue once in a while, but that's like emphasis on once in a while. Like, you're not going to be fighting all the time. You're not going to always feel like you're missing something. Like, it's going to make a lot more sense when you're with the person that you're meant to be with. And like, the person that you're meant to be with could be a lot of people. I'm not saying that there's one specific person that's meant to be with you. I think that you could match with and get along with a lot of people and make a great long-term forever relationship with someone. But I truly think that it's so like misinterpreted, and people think that relationships are just always going to be hard, and that's just what a relationship is and you have to fight for it. But like, obviously at times, yes, that is true. There are times where relationships are hard or they get hard, but when you're truly in a loving, healthy, mature relationship, you will know that you're not like making the wrong choice. You know what I mean? Like, when you're in a bad relationship but you feel like you're going to die without this person, and you feel like, well, I can't break up with them because like I want to be with this person forever, but you're missing this and you're missing this, and then like you're also fighting every other day. You're fighting like multiple times a week about stupid stuff or big stuff. Then that's kind of when you know. And I feel like I feel like everyone really, really, like deep down, if you really ask yourself, you know that you shouldn't be with that person. But it's just so hard to leave when you're with a person and you're comfortable and you think about starting over, even when you're 19. Like, it's still hard even when you're 19. So when I was 19, like, I felt like my relationship that I had was the one. But like, I knew it wasn't, because I knew that I was missing so many of these things that I knew that I needed in a relationship. Buddy, what's wrong? You're hungry? But since I had only been in one previous relationship in high school, which lasted like a good 4 months, maybe 6 months total if you count like talking and stuff, but it was like nothing. And like obviously I gained barely any experience from that relationship. You know, you're just young and you think, and I'm still young, so obviously I don't know everything about relationships, but you just think that like relationships are hard and that's how it is, you know. And also if you don't have good examples of like healthy relationships in your life, which I never did, like genuinely never had any good anything to look up to. My grandparents fought like fucking cats and dogs. My dad and my mom cheated on each other, got divorced. My dad married the neighbor that he cheated with. My mom was single for a while, in and out of relationships. Never really had a healthy one that was like super long term or anything up until she's married now, but I was already in college by the time she got married. And my sister never had good relationships, actually terrible relationships. Like no one had good relationships around me. So I thought, you know what? I'm doing better than them. So I can, I can suffer through this if it means being in a relationship, which is crazy because you really think that like being in a relationship where you're miserable is better than being alone and happy. It's really crazy. And it's like, I know everyone doesn't feel that way, but I also know that a lot of people do feel that way. And sometimes it just feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders when you're like heading towards a breakup and you're thinking about being alone again. Even when I was 23 and going through a breakup and I'm like, oh my God, I'm 23, like I can't believe I have to start over. And it's crazy to think that. Truly, it's crazy to think that. But I just think, obviously, this guy is really young. And if anyone is really young watching this podcast and this kind of situation happens, I just want to let you know that's not healthy. And that's honestly a form of abuse, because forcing someone to get your name tattooed on your body forever, especially at this young age, is very crazy, and it's a form of manipulation. So, let's read some of the comments. She is literally valuing a tattoo more than your relationship. This is just manipulation city. And after only 8 months, OP, I'm a woman, tell her no and show her the door. 8 months, 80 years, doesn't matter. It's an unhinged request to attach an ultimatum to. 100%. Like, me and my boyfriend have been together for 2-something years, 2.5 years? I don't know. If we didn't break up, it'd be like 3.5, 4 years. And I would never be like, you need to do this or we're breaking up. You need to get your name tattooed on you, or my name tattooed on you, or we're breaking up. I mean, that's crazy. You can surely ask, hey, I would love this. If they say no, that's where it ends. That's where the conversation ends. Controlling behavior, what's next? If my husband made this request after 80 years together, he would be 120. I might consider it. At that age, we might want to do something new to keep things fresh. OP should get a friend to draw it in marker and say, done, your turn, with a picture by text message. Oh, drop a fake tattoo and pull an Uno reverse. I wish, honestly, that'd be so funny. She probably wouldn't get that anyways. I mean, yeah, I definitely think, I agree with him when he says, like, the kiss of death or whatever. I completely agree with that. I feel like that always ends up happening. You get a matching tattoo with a significant other, or, like, you get their name tatted, it's, like, destined to fail. I thought that this story was prevalent to read with the climate of the world right now, based on the title. So the title is, I had a complicated pregnancy loss last year. I found out today that people voted differently because of me. I'm not here to debate the politics of the U.S. I'm not trying to change your mind. Last year, my husband and I found out that we were expecting our first child, a boy. He unfortunately developed a heart condition in our second trimester that ended up taking him from us. At first, there were no symptoms of anything wrong. other than the overwhelming sense that something was wrong. I went to the doctor and had so much trouble getting someone to see us that I was left alone for around 9 hours. Around that 9-hour mark, I started turning septic, and only then was I able to get attention, medicine, and care both my son and I needed. The aftermath was a lot. It involved blood transfusions, surgery, and a month of bed rest. Obviously, with the length of our care and being 4 months pregnant, there was no avoiding what had happened. It's been about a year, and I talk pretty openly about our son and our experience. I've never felt comfortable using him as a political point or anything like that, but I'll post the occasional remembrance post on days that feel big. I have a great support group, and I just never really thought anything of it. With the election here in the US, it's felt like my life has been under a microscope in a sense. Watching people debate on what my health care should be, having been on the other side of it, it's felt stressful and uncomfortably vulnerable. Because of this, I signed out of social media for a few days. I signed back on this morning, and one of my coworkers had posted something about praying for all the women in her life. The comments were extensive, so I opened them out of curiosity. As you could guess, it was people debating the future of women's rights. At the end, there was a comment from my coworker telling them how last year she had witnessed firsthand how these situations aren't always black and white, and it had caused her to see things differently. I knew she was talking about me, so I simply loved it. I continued to scroll, and I started getting messages from people, not too many, but some family and an old friend, about how they had thought of me in the election booth and how I'd been on their minds lately. And here's the thing. I'm not here to debate. I'm not here to change your mind. I've never intentionally tried to change someone's political party or beliefs. But after feeling so scrutinized, and especially after waking up today, the amount of warmth I've felt from those messages were everything. To know people thought about me, about my son, and how he deserved better. To see them inadvertently fighting for me in the comments, and to hear they expanded their thought process because of us. Someone cares. They care. And as much as I try to, it means more than I can express today. Wait, I didn't think that was going to make me cry, actually. Oh my gosh. I don't even know, obviously it's really sad because she went through that, and then not only that, but, losing her son and all of that, but, I love that people, because it never feels like people actually think about anyone other than themselves, but, obviously in this story, it's very real, and someone really took someone else's experience, something that didn't just happen to them, it didn't directly affect them, other than obviously it's a really sad something that happened to your friend or your coworker, but obviously I know there are people that care about people. In times like this, it feels like no one does. It feels like really everyone's only out for themselves, and no one ever thinks about the way that other people could feel. It's really crazy to me in every sense, and not just women, so many things. So, that's honestly a great sad, but it's also happy at the same time, because it's nice to know that you impacted someone and something that you went through actually changed someone without you even knowing. That's beautiful. I'm going to read some of the comments. It's clear how much strength you've shown, and I'm really moved by your story. Thank you for sharing your experience. I think a lot of people believe these issues are few and way over there. These issues are next door and every day. It's honestly heartbreaking that it takes someone knowing someone who has suffered like this to change one's perspective on women's access to health care. I don't need to know someone. All I need to know is that it happens, and it could be me in that same position, or more importantly, my daughter. I know it's not easy, but this is why it's so important for women to share their stories. Pregnancy loss is not something to hide or be ashamed of. It happens every day. So thank you for telling your story and for being a catalyst for change, even when it was painful for you to do so. Women's rights to medical attention should not be a political matter. It should be between the woman and her doctor. It is only because it has been made a political matter that your experience was made that much more traumatic and dangerous to your health. That sadly, people need to know and understand the repercussions of these perverse political viewpoints. We women in the UK support you. We have free birth control, free morning after pill. These things, if introduced in the USA, should alleviate their abortion concerns and leave alone the medical needs of women whose very lives are endangered by carrying fetus/embryo that are not viable. So very sorry for what happened to you. The world is fearful for all women in America who have lost the right to medical treatment and control over their own bodies. It's horrifying. Yeah, it is horrifying, for the love of God. Like, why are you sniffing? He's crazy. But, oh my gosh. Maybe I shouldn't have read that. I'm trying to get away from thinking about these things, and it's everywhere, so. But I like that story because it just gives a nice sense of relief that someone cares, and there will always be someone that cares about your story, even if you feel like they don't. Okay, next story. Am I the asshole for being furious with my pregnant wife over a prank? I've been with my wife Lisa since college, and she's currently 7 months pregnant with our first baby. My wife Lisa is witty and likes to play jokes on me. For example, she likes to pass off fake facts and stories as real and see if I'll believe them. Lisa was a theater kid, and so she's great at acting and selling these stories. I used to fall for her pranks all the time since I'm gullible and she's so convincing. However, now that I've been with her for so many years, I can typically tell when she's messing with me. She's upped the antics over the years, and so she can occasionally get me to believe one of her jokes. Today, when I got home from work, Lisa had tears in her eyes and told me that she needed to talk to me about something. I was seriously worried and sat down with her immediately. I asked what was wrong several times, and she kept saying it was hard to talk about, and she was terrified that I would leave her. I kept pressing, and she told me she had an affair with her boss several months ago, and wasn't sure if the baby was mine. I asked if she was serious, and she said she was 100% serious, and started crying even harder. I got up, started pacing, and tried to gather my thoughts. After a few minutes, Lisa bursted into laughter and said she was just joking. I was furious. I said it wasn't funny in the slightest to make jokes about cheating and the child not being mine. Lisa then said she was a bit offended that I believed that specific prank and not several others. She said she couldn't believe I actually thought she would cheat on me. And then she got teary and asked why I didn't trust her. I asked why I would trust her after she pulled that prank on me, managed to cry telling me about it, and continued with the prank even though I was visibly upset. I'm assuming that's what he meant. Lisa said it was harmless, and I was blowing things way out of proportion. She continued to ask why I didn't trust her, and I told her I needed some space. I ended up going to a speakeasy and have been away from the house ever since. Even though Lisa has called several times, I know it was a prank, but I think this joke went way too far, especially with the tears. I also was clearly upset, as anyone would be, and she should have stopped it as soon as she realized I was actually falling for it. Usually Lisa's jokes are funny, but this one really got to me for some reason. Am I the asshole, and am I overreacting? I feel badly because she's very pregnant with my child, and I don't want to stress her out, but I need space right now. The way that I would literally be so pissed off if someone pulled that prank on me. What even prank? That's not a prank. Why is that funny? That's not funny at all, actually. I think that's kind of sick that you would actually joke about something like that. And also, crying wolf almost. You're crying and making this guy believe you. Why would he believe you about anything else that you come to him about going forward? It's at that point I would question everything coming out of your mouth. So I would need you to never ever prank me ever again. And if you ever did, that would be the end. I would be that would be it. This is the last chance you're getting if you ever prank me again. Even fucking scaring me. Even hiding behind a door and scaring me when I walk in a room. I'm going to say bye to you because that's just way too far. I don't think you're overreacting at all. I think I would be so upset. And also, I would probably still be wondering if it's true. Did you really cheat on me, but you're just not pregnant? Where'd you come up with that, you know? Even if it's 100% false, I still would be this is weird. Why'd you come up with that? Okay, some of the comments. Not the asshole. The worst part to me isn't even the prank. It's after the prank. She sees you're upset, and instead of apologizing, she blames you for believing her and began to question you. Also, just remember, she can make herself cry, so don't let tears fool you anymore. Yeah, that's also true. The fact that she's, like, mad at you now for believing her, as if she wasn't just crying. Like, you want me to not believe you from now on about you, like, coming to me about something serious and crying? Okay. Like, from now on, whenever you talk to me about something serious or cry to me about something serious, I'm just going to say, I don't believe you. How would you like that? Do you want that to happen instead? Like, I'm so confused. Who are you? Because, okay, I'm going to keep reading the comments. Because she saw it wasn't going her way, so she went toxic and redirected the guilt. The test is the only route now because she set up the concept, and now she doesn't know if this was a false flag. She's dumb as a fucking rock, too. Why don't you trust me? Well, that's the thing, isn't it? He did trust her when she said she was cheating. Should he have assumed that she was a liar? Not the asshole. The real issue is her response after the prank. Instead of apologizing for crossing a line, she blamed you for believing it. That's not how you handle someone's feelings. My ex-wife used to joke about cheating on me, sometimes accuse me, then say she was joking. Truth was, she was cheating on me the entire time. Not the asshole. I'd be so pissed if she pulled this one. Yeah, exactly. That's why I literally would just, at that point, I would believe it. I'd be like, okay, maybe you actually are cheating on me. Maybe you actually are having an affair with your boss, because I don't know what to believe anymore. I would have no clue in the world. Next story. The title is, Am I the Asshole for Expecting to be Included in My Boyfriend's Daughter's Birthday Trip? My boyfriend and I have been together for 2 years. We live together. We both have kids. I have mine 24/7. He has his daughter every other weekend. Sometimes his daughter stays with me for all her school break while dad works. When we got together, we agreed that we would treat each other's kids as our own. I try to be involved as much as I can, but try not to overstep as he co-parents with his ex. I haven't met his ex yet. I haven't asked to meet her, and neither has she. At this point in our relationship, I assume that I'm his family, yet he keeps me separate from his daughter when it comes to sports, birthday parties, etc. He never invites me, only says, I have this going on for my daughter, and is on his way. I've also respected it and never questioned it and remained in the background. 3 months ago, he mentioned he would work overtime or a second job to save up for Disney for his daughter's birthday. He never invited, he only mentioned it. I assumed eventually he'd tell me more and invite me, but he didn't, and I never brought it up. A few weeks later, we had a barbecue with friends at our house. One of our friends overheard he had a Disney trip planned for his daughter's birthday without me. She told him he should take me and give me my place as his future wife in his family. I joked and said he didn't invite me because his ex doesn't want me to be there, and he avoided the comment. All he said was, It's going to be my ex's first time going to Disney. She's never been there. I let it be, moved on from it. 2 months later, he brought it up again. I asked questions like who's all going, etc. He said my daughter, both my parents, and my ex is going. I said okay. He brought it up again, and this time he mentioned a friend of his ex was going, and that made me feel some type of way, but I let it be out of respect for his daughter. He talked about it again today, said he wants to go fishing out there, plans to stay longer with his dad, while his mom, daughter, his ex, and ex's friend will come back sooner. I then said, oh, more people are going? He said yes, and that his ex's sister and boyfriend will be meeting them up there. I couldn't stay quiet any longer, and I asked him why wasn't I invited, since there seems to be a lot of more people going. And he told me he asked his ex if I could go, and she said no. I asked why she said no, and he said she just said no, and she doesn't want to meet you. It hurts my feelings, and I told him it's very messed up for him to exclude me if he wanted me to be there, that his ex should suck it up, and that if he really wanted me there, he should have stood up to her and let her know what he wanted. I understand that it's his daughter's birthday trip, and it's about her, but I just felt excluded from something important in his life that I wanted to be a part of. I guess I was wrong to assume of being included, and now he's mad at me because I made a big deal and says he won't go. He should still go. All I wanted was to know why he didn't invite me. Now I feel horrible, and I'm wondering if I crossed the line with voicing my feelings. I mean, it would make sense if you guys have been dating for a few months and, like, you hadn't been introduced to the daughter yet and, wants to keep things separate. But at this point, it's like you're 2 years in. You should also, the fact that why doesn't the ex want to meet you? Like, it sounds like she's jealous, and that's weird. I think you should just be a man and be like, well, she's in our daughter's life, and she's gonna continue to be in our daughter's life and my life, so she's coming. You don't ask. You don't have to ask. Like, this is someone that I'm assuming you want to spend the rest of your life with. I don't know. But I would assume so if you've been together for 2 years and you're letting her take care of your daughter. It's a little weird that you wouldn't just I don't know, man up and be like, well, hey, actually, she's coming. The fact that you even are like, can she come? No, just say, hey, my girlfriend's coming along, and that's that. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's really so simple to just respect your partner, and I would also feel terrible if I was excluded from that, especially knowing that I'm trying my best to treat your daughter the way that I treat my own kids, and I'm trying to treat her, and obviously if you're a part of this little girl's life and you want to continue to be a part of her life and his life, you obviously want to build memories like that together, because you're in some way a parent figure to this girl. Just a little confused. This girl said, in my opinion, you're not the asshole. I think your boyfriend should have invited you. If you get married, is he still going to let his ex dictate his choices? I thought the same, and that's why I made a comment about it. I usually don't say anything. It sounds like she calls all the shots and he does as she says. You need to say more. Apparently his ex has more say-so in his life than you do. This isn't right if he wants a relationship with you. At this point, I think I'd nope out of the whole situation. The children are not treated equally either. The children shouldn't be treated equally. They are not married and have only been together for 2 years. I'm assuming if they are halfway decent parents that the kids just met within the last year. Why would halfway decent parents have only introduced their kids recently? All we see in this sub is people in blended families full of resentment, hate, and loneliness. My kid was used to social events with family and friends when I met my partner. I didn't put a "this is my partner" label on him, so he was just another adult who happened to be at the park with her friends' parents. That way, you could see how they interacted, and we avoided being emotionally invested than finding it was a disaster down the road. There is more than one sensible way to navigate people coming in and out of your life. That's a good way to put it. Crazy he's taking the ex and one of her friends and brother, and see where I'm going? He is not taking you. He better get a backbone when it comes to the ex, or you'll never be included. What next? She gets a boyfriend and starts inviting him on vacations too, but you're still not invited? Opie said, I thought she planned the trip and invited him, but he planned the trip with them. She already has a boyfriend of so many years that she lives with. I don't know if she's taking her boyfriend. My boyfriend didn't say. Doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter if she's taking her boyfriend or not, but if this guy really sees a future with you and really wants you to be a part of your life, first of all, you shouldn't have to force him to invite you in the first place, That's the part that gets me. It's after me expressing that to you and then basically forcing myself to be invited, at that point it doesn't mean anything to me. It's more like I forced you to do this and you didn't know to do that in the first place. And it just seems like you don't give a fuck. Kind of weird, kind of silly. I don't know how I would move forward with that, to be honest. I don't know. I don't feel like this is something that I would completely break up over, but I definitely think it would be something I would take a note of in the back of my head. And also not only that, but is this something on top of everything, is this just a one-time thing that he's not thinking of you at all or the way that you would feel? Or is this something that's repetitively happening, or are other terrible things along these same lines happening as well? And is it just all adding up? You know what I mean? It's I don't know their whole relationship and what it's been like for the past 2 years, and I don't really know the premise of their relationship other than what she's given us, which isn't much. So it's you should take this into consideration if you feel like, is he a good partner overall? And if this is just a one-off thing, or is he not a good partner and you should probably leave him and this is just another like cherry on top of the cake. So that's definitely something to consider. I would be very hurt. I hate not being invited to things. Oh my gosh, it makes me so upset, especially when it's your partner. It just makes you like so sad, and it's just like, okay, so you don't care about me at all, and I'm just gonna sit here by myself, all alone, while you go have fun in Disney. Especially, like, not only that, but you're going with your ex. Kill me now. I don't know if I could take, like, being with someone that has a kid with someone else. I think it'd be way too hard on my mental health. Emotionally, I don't think I could be, like, handling it at that point in time or ever in my life. But you're so strong if you do, honestly. So strong. I mean, at least it's, like, on both sides, so, you kind of understand, but regardless, it would be so hard for me, because I'd be like, why would you have a kid with someone else? I can't believe you didn't wait for me. Okay. Well, I think that's the end of this story time society. I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry if my energy was a little low today, or not as, I feel off, but I think that's expected, and I think I deserve a pass for that. If you guys haven't already, please press the subscribe button, leave a comment, let me know what you thought about any of the stories, or just let me know how you're doing, honestly. Let me know how are you? How are you? And if you want to listen on Spotify ever, the link is below, or if you want to give me a follow, maybe give me a 5-star review. Maybe if you love me. And also the subreddit is linked below as well if you want to cross-post or post any stories on there or interact in any way. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I love you so much, okay? I love you, and I wish you the best day and week and days to come ever. I'll see you guys on Tuesday, and hopefully we're feeling a little bit better.